Hey guys, Cow2C here. Gonna hop in and play some 500 Zoom. Quite a few players I don't know in the pool, so well, it's a small pool, but with a few players I don't know, so we'll see how good it is. I think pure defender on the right, never fold, never 3-bet, and pure defending 9-10. A flop you could consider leading, but I choose not to. And I like having two sizes here. It's one of the only spots I like having two sizes on the turn, where I use block and overbet. I think this hand mostly wants to block, but occasionally is going to overbet, and occasionally is going to check. And just folding on the right with no heart, no hand. Against a slightly larger 3-bet. Opening queen 10. So this guy we've seen open to 3x and flat the small blind, so leaning towards him being a recreational, but we'll have to wait and see. And this hand with two overs and double backdoors, we'll do some c-betting, especially given the inclination that this guy might be a weaker player. I'm still not going to bet that often on this board. I'll bet this hand a third of the time. And I think just pure checking hand on the left. And checking back on the right. Good card for our range. Very much not so for our hand. I think we just keep checking here. And I think we want some sort of equity to bet here on the right, so I think I'm just going to pure check this hand. Wouldn't shock me if this hand bet at a very low frequency, but I don't feel comfortable putting in any bets with it. And check deciding here on the left. Somewhat reasonable hand to check call, given I think he would value bet the straight. And easy fold here on the right. This hand's going to mix, mostly 3-betting, but doing some calling as well. And on a 71 calling. So we have a big 6x advantage here, which means I think we want to be doing a lot of large betting, and we do want to bet our aces sometimes. And defending a7. If I remember my charts right, a6 mixes and then a7's pure against 2.5. And easy fold on the flop. So this guy's flat the small blind twice. Definitely leaning towards the fact that it'd be a recreational. I think this is a pretty reasonable hand to see bet. Against the fish, I'm gonna just... I don't know he's a fish, so I'll play properly. This hand makes some 4-betting and some calling. Gonna call this time. And easy fold on the left. Again, his sizing's further indicating me toward the fact that he's a recreational going half pot. I think he should be going with a very large sizing now. This is close. I think if I had ace6 with like the backdoor nut straight draw, I'm defending more. I think this hand will occasionally defend. But I think we have to do a decent amount of folding. The 7's just really, really bad as a kicker. Literally the worst kicker we could have there. This will mix low frequency 3-bets, which we do roll. This also mixing very low frequency 3-bets pre-flop. And I think just folding. If I had, it's sort of close. If I had the 9 of diamonds, I think I'd even call it very low frequency. Not sure about that. But with the 7 of diamonds. Gonna check. Oh, gonna fold rather. And really good board for us with our big blind 3-betting range. So I think I'm gonna go half pot with range. And range betting on the right. We 3-bet a lot of Queen X and some kind of, and a lot of cards that wrap around the Queen well. And just gonna pure give up on the left. Closer on the right. I think we do have to peel one. Not totally sure, so I'll mix a third folds. And I roll very passive, so I will fold a third of the time. Yeah, not totally sure if our hands are pure continue. We have to be continuing very, very wide there. And this is kind of nice with the backdoor straight draw, but it kind of also sucks that we lose to his 3x because a lot of his bluff raising range is going to be 3x. This hand actually mixes some 3-bets. And easy fold on the left. So again, I think this guy's a recreational as well. And there's another player in the pool that I'm certain is a recreational. And I think with the bad end of the gut shot, even with the backdoor flush draw, I don't think we raise this very often. I think I'll raise it 1 in 5. And we do roll it. If I didn't have the backdoor flush draw, I would not be raising 8-6 ever. And then I will occasionally with the spades, and then a bit more frequently with the hearts. So yeah, this is a player I know as a fish 100%. Looks like there's 3 fish in a pool of 19 entries, so not the worst, not the best. And this will definitely mix 3-bets. I don't think on a 69 I would have gone for it. Definitely not cold 4-betting. I would cold 4-bet some King Jack suited there. And this player again is looking like a recreational playing 38-0, even though it's 8 hands. Having the 38-0 is a pretty heavy indicator of being recreational. This mixes some 3-bets, not too many. Really interesting flop. If he checks, I like 40% as my size on this flop. You can mix sizings as well. Have small and big, but I prefer to just use one size on flop and turns. Pretty nice hand to be betting. I'm going to be using a large size here. On an 81 checking back though. I wonder if the spades ever really check back. And I think pure maybe I'll check back very occasionally with the 7-5. Yeah, maybe with the spades we pretty much pure barrel this, but I think on an 81 it's totally fine to find a check back as well. It's not going to cost us any EV. And very easy continue, double gut shot, flush draw, great implied odds. So easy call. And river in the flush. Interesting after E2X pots. It's kind of repping King Queen plus with a lot of 2-pair. Unfortunate for him. Yeah, I was gonna say like it's interesting finding the cutoffs of where we raise versus bet, i.e. like what size bet he'd go where we raise versus call. after he 2x pots turn, using very large sizings on this board. So I'm going to check this hand pure. I think there's cutoff. Yeah, I think we defend this hand when we're 130 deep more than we defend some of our more standard offsuit hands. And just going to be checking turn on the right. And I think we just have many, many, many better hands to call here. We kind of just block bluffs and nothing else here with sixes. So again, this is one of the few turn spots that I have block overbet. This hand will block occasionally and check as well. And I think we just pure block river now. Yeah, I don't think our hand ever wants to do anything but block here. And probably block and fold. If he does raise. Queen 7 is a loose, but I think winning defend here. It's toward the bottom end of the range of my defending hands. I'm just going to be check, fold, and flop. I know Jarrett Man likes to 1/3 these with a lot of his range. Yeah, I just think like even a hand like 10-6 is better to call. He never has 10-8, does he? I don't have too many offsuit hands, offsuit 6x. If I don't have any offsuit 6x actually defending, I'll call this a quarter of the time. And I roll it. Nice. I'm going to sit out because I'm almost out of time bank. Yeah, I think we have to occasionally defend the 6x. So I'm thinking like, it's actually kind of good having the jack because I think a lot of his jack X combos will bet at an earlier time. He never has 10-8 or 8-5 in this line. So it's actually just, I thought like at the start I want a 10 or an 8, but it's just not relevant at all. I guess a 10's probably better because it's even more likely he bets an 8, a 10 at an earlier point in the hand. And then river, it's super hard to have good blockers, so I think we just need to do like, I'm going to make a loose open because I think this guy's recreational and he hasn't 3-bet in 55 hands. Basically, if the big blind's not 3-betting much, we get to, of course we get 3-bet now, we get to go kind of crazy in the small blind because we're realizing our equity a lot of the time. And you're going to reset this one because I'm out of time bank. And there are now 3 fish in a pool of 18. So pretty much like playing a reg table with a fish in the hand. I think I will mark this guy as a fish and I can always change it later. Relatively sure he's a fish. And a board I like to do a lot of checking on. Against the recreational, I'm not going to do that so much. I think I will still check raises sometimes. I'm going to bet this half and probably check raise half. Roll the bet. And easy fold on the right. Like a lot of the time against fish, I'll just go with what I think is higher EV. I'm not 100% sure this guy's a fish. Amazing turn for his range, so going to be checking most of my range here. And this is close between block and check. I think I prefer block. Yeah, I think I just prefer block with the king 9 specifically. the stronger our 9, the more incentive we have to block and get value from worse 9x. I don't think this hand ever raises versus this size. Just going to be a pure call. And we can definitely consider having leads on this turn when he goes 3/4 on the flop. I think we actually want to be leading this card quite a lot. Like, yeah, leading it a hell of a lot when he goes 3/4 pot. And 3-betting jacks. And I think check deciding on the right. Our hand could be worth a block. It's kind of close. Range betting on the left for 1/3. I think I prefer check. And check decide. Definitely better to hero Queen 10 than Jack 10, I think. The 10 of hearts is... I mean, he's going to raise his 2-pair almost always. And he has King 10 offsuit pure. On an 8-6, I'm going to check for jacks. Yeah, this is a really interesting spot, the Queen 10. I think I'm going to call half the time. Really not sure. But yeah, just going to call half the time. And with the jacks, we can call, we can raise. I think I'm gonna jam. Pretty close with the jacks there. I think if I roll passive, I just call. But I think I want to mostly jam. And range betting on the left. And against the fish, I'm going to just bet this hand for a 1/4. If we fold out any hand in his range, apart from deuces or threes, we're happy. We're not even unhappy folding out deuces and threes. On this roll, I think I'm actually going to 3-bet. I think this is a bit small. And I think quite a nice card and hand to be barreling turn. I think recreationals are unlikely to float enough ace high there. Some will float too much ace high, and then others won't float enough. I think on average, probably not floating enough. Low frequency 3-bet here. Very much mostly calling. It's totally fine if you just want a pure call this hand. I like to RNG 10% of 3-bets. That's what it says in my ranges as well. So gonna do that. Very low frequency 4-bet with the king queen off. We start 4-betting king jack off and king 10 off quite a lot. But king queen's kind of it's kind of a shame when we 4-bet and have to fold for a jam when our hand's quite this strong. And checking. And I don't think we ever get to consider bluffing fives here. We just have many worse hands to be choosing. We're almost never good when it goes check, but we occasionally beat some pocket fours, pocket threes. And even beating a couple combos in his range just makes us not get to bluff, basically. Unfortunate to get the walk with jacks. And I think we mix very rare folds with eights. I think like 20% of the time we fold this. And folding a lot more with eights if we're even one position earlier. But in the cutoff, I think we have to defend this the vast majority. Not sure about his flop C bet size there. It's definitely interesting. I don't think it's a thing, but I could be wrong when we're 130 bigs deep. Happy to be wrong there, but I think it is just too big. I think I'm going to pure 3-bet sevens. If I had sixes, I would definitely not be pure 3-betting. I think this is the absolute bottom of my pure 3-bet range. It's really nice when we take that down though, winning an extra big blind compared to if he opens 2.5x. But yeah, the more I see of this player, the more I'm convinced he is recreational. Our range has to check a hell of a lot on this board. This is one of the... It's probably like a top 15% board for imposition. I still do like a tiny bit of betting and kind of everything sort of mixes, but this handle pretty much never bet. Very rarely. And on the turn, I think we do bet this sometimes. Like our range is like still pretty strong, given I'm checking so much of my range on the flop. Like I have so many overpairs still in range. Even have like a lot of my 4x in range. There's no hand in our range that we get to bet like all the time, I don't believe. And interesting spot whether we bluff this on the river. I don't think we rep too much, but I do think this hand still has to go for it sometimes. I will on a 38. And I think I will go this size. Expect to get heroed a lot, but I think our hand just has to do some bluffing. I'm very comfortable knowing that I have a decent amount of value in my range here. Mixing some 3-bets here on the left, which I roll. So the ace deuce here, I used to not fold this on the button, even though I've always known it's a GTO fold, but I have started folding it recently. I think just pure betting, given there's a fish in the hand. If this was against two regs, I would be checking back a lot. I think there aren't too many hands that want to bet more than jacks, however. I think nines probably, because I don't think... If this were two regs, I don't think either of them would ever have pocket pair better than nines. Just going to check this on the left. But jacks is right up there with hands that we want to be c-betting. And very easy continue. Gonna take my time though. Like my fringe hands definitely need time to figure out if they're going to be calls or not. You can definitely check this back. I just choose to go for the range bet on this board. I definitely don't hate having some checks and including this hand in checking range. And I think our jacks, specifically jacks with these suits, I think really want to be betting turn, benefiting a lot from protection. He's going to have some like double check raises here. But it's nice blocking suit at 10x. Although I think Jack 10 suit is going to squeeze like a decent amount. But not probably always, because he'll want to play post flop with the fish. So I think we do block some, yeah, Jack 10 suited as well as offsuit combos. I think, yeah, the jacks, no club, no spade is just about the hand that needs most protection in my range. Going to pure free bet here. Not seen this player before, so hopefully recreational. If he is, the pool's actually looking really good. He's two tabling. Less likely now that he is recreational, but we'll see. I like to range bet these boards on the left. We sacrifice a small amount of EV, but not too much. And it both simplifies our life and makes his life a bit harder, because constructing the kind of raising range against small bet there is a lot less natural than kind of against more normal strategies, or more kind of mixed strategies. You have to find some quite uncomfortable raises. And going to be pure 3-betting, of course, on the right. This hand just doesn't get to bet on the left table. I think I'm using 2/3 or check with my range, and yeah, just never ever betting this hand. This is kind of close on the left. This is really close. I think I'm leaning towards fold, but not by much. I think I am just about going to fold this hand. And this will mix very low frequency 4-bet, which I roll. Sizing up a bit because we are deeper. Nice to get that through. I will open this because, again, this guy's 3-bet one time in 111 hands, which means we're just going to either get folds or get to see the flop so often that we really get to expand our small blind opening range. It's the position that you want to adjust your opening range the most, depending on big blind stats. So I think, yeah, opening 10-5 when the guy's just not free-betting anything but the nuts. He's also just got very passive stats generally. He plays like 25-5 as his pre-flop stats. So yeah, against very passive opponents in the big blind, we just get to pretty much open like 75% even, I'd say, profitably. And I think we'll bet the sometimes, we'll check the sometimes. Kings is the kind of overpaired for 6 that's going to check the most. This mixes 3-bet, I think a third of the time. I think it's a third of the time. Pure checking turn with kings. I'd start to bet some, as I say, lower pocket pairs on the turn. But I think kings, we're really not worried. Like, we're either way ahead or we have 2 outs. So I don't really see too much reason to be betting turn. Clear check on the river. Just gonna see how long the video's been. I might call it here because, as you can see, the action's slowing up. There's only 14 entries in the pool. How long has it been? 32 minutes. Okay. I'll see. I might record a bit longer. If it starts getting to be quite long waits in between hands, then I think I'll call it a vid. Yeah, had a bit of a downswing at the start of the year, but I've gotten through that and then some. So nice to be back. Shot taking 500 to zoom. And I'm sure you guys prefer to see 500 than 200. So this guy's using very non-standard sizings, both with his opens and 3-bets. And I think we are meant to flat this because our range, like some of the time, because our range is really weak. I think I'll flat this 40% of the time and jam the rest. Aces, we flat even more. Going for the jam here. And as mentioned earlier, I prefer range bet on these boards. Even if I weren't using a range bet strategy, I think this hand like almost always wants to bet. With the kind of overcard, really nice backdoors. And we have a pure defend on the right. And flop pretty well. Can't really complain at flopping a pair and a flush draw. Wonder if we have a kind of race to get this one in. My instinct tells me this hand's not meant to raise much, but I think I will raise it some of the time. We can fold out some better hands and hands that have a lot of equity. Like if we fold out ace king, that's really good. Ace king has a ton of equity against our hand. If I had the king of hearts, I think I'd do some floating here, but not with the eight of hearts. And very easy check back here on turn. Would be an absolute disaster to bet this hand, and we never get to bluff river. Hopefully he just checks down pocket nines. King jack, unfortunate. Yeah, so like raising flop, like there's a good chance we can get a hand like this to fold. So there's kind of exploitative benefits to doing it, and we're almost never crushed. But my gut is telling me it really doesn't want to raise off and kind of for a GTO lens. I could be wrong though. I'll have a look at that one. I think kings with a heart. I think I'm probably gonna pure check on such a good board for villain, especially with the heart in my hand. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna pure check and start betting my lower pocket pairs that need more protection. And very easy call. And we are cold four betting here on the left. And we will be cycling off a jam. And I just don't think we quite get to fold kings here. He could potentially value bet 10. We have the king of hearts. Like, we're just way too high up in our range to fold. Don't have to win that often. And just going to range bet on the left. Our range is incredibly strong here after we cold four bet. Even our bluffs, which ace queen is one of, connect pretty well on this board. Sixes, we do make some folds and some calls. Rolling fold this time. This really sucks. Yeah, I think we just fold. Feels pretty crap, but I think we just want to have a backdoor flush draw. If he has ace queen, we have 3 outs. And he's going to have like a decent amount of ace queen. And our range is so strong here, like we're not going to struggle to find defense. Again, I'll look that one up, but I think it is just a side fold. And opening queen 10, king 10 rather. And 3-betting queens. I think we go on the smaller side here. Yeah, I think we go smaller here, given the size of his ISO. And I'm going to use 2/3 check on this board. When like all our overcards totally whiff, we generally want to polarize a bit more. I'm going to very much mostly bet queens. And yeah, 2/3 is going to be my only sizing here. Where's my pop button? There it is. Took me a while. And easy call. Flipping. Unfortunate. Yeah, nothing we can do there, just losing a flip. Always hurts when you're shot taken to lose the flips, but it's fine. Opening the queen 7 and the cutoff. See how long this video's been now. 40 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna set out next big blind and call it a video. I think our range wants to do a lot of checking this hand occasionally. Not too often though. And this hand mixes call and 4-bet. This deep, I don't think we ever get to fold this in position to this price, but we will definitely do some 4-betting. And I think doing a lot of checking with the queen 7 is the weakest queen we have here, so I want to be checking it a lot. And if he checks, we have a very clear value bet. It's nice that we now chop with a lot of queens that had us beat on the turn. Interesting to see him bet here. I think with the hearts, we don't want to raise too much. I still will raise this a quarter of the time. Would be doing it more with any other king 8 suited. And easy call here on the left. Again, that's what I was saying. Nice that we now chop with the other queen X. And it's really tempting to jam this. I really like blocking the queen jack. I think I will find some jams with this hand. I should have picked a number before. I think I'll call on this roll. Yeah, I think I get to still call this. And if he checks, I think we do bluff river. Feels really bad, but I don't think we get many folds. I think we mix all three there on the turn. It's a really annoying spot. My instincts tell me he's quite strong there, given he shouldn't find too many bets on this board on the flop. So usually when people bet boards that are really bad for them, they're on the stronger end, and then he goes huge on the turn. Finding some 4-bets here. On a 14, gonna do it. Really sucks when we 4-bet and get jammed on with this hand, but it's just a thing. I'm just gonna follow what the GTO charts tell me what to do as far as pre-flop's concerned when there are no fish involved. And range bank 20% here. And unless an ace comes off, we probably never get away from this. I think we do find quite a few turn checks though with king queen. On a 38, I think we keep betting. I think I like 30% on the turn. Recorder. Nah, 30 feels right to me. With the SPR. And opening ace 10. Feels like I've played like 12 hands here without getting a big blind, but I'll take it. And this hand would be a terrible c-bet. Like we have like actually okay equity here with this hand, but betting and then getting raised would just be a disaster. So never ever considering c-betting. And then we have a pretty good hand to be betting the turn. I think our range wants to use 2/3, so he can have a lot of check raises with obviously a lot of value and definitely some bluffs as well. On a 22, going to bet this hand. But we still have to be pretty careful on this queen, given the flop texture. As mentioned, he goes for the check raise. Very clear call. I think he should actually go bigger. I think this size is just a bit too small. I think he should go even more like 18 blinds there. 12 seems too small. And we just have to check back. We're even good here, like a decent amount of time. My gut tells me, given he check raised small on the turn, he has a hand like ace queen. Because his range should be going bigger. Okay, he has the 9-10. That's fine. But yeah, I think his check raise is too small on the turn there. Like, he wants to be raising 2-pair plus for value, and 2-pair plus can just go bigger than this. We're pretty capped. Like, we have some queen 8 suited. We have some flop, like, checkbacks for sets, but not too many. A lot of the time we just have one pair or a draw. So I think he wants to go way bigger here with his check raising range. But yeah, that was another 500 zoom. Shot take, nice to be playing 500 again. Let's see how we did. So we lost 300, but should have made 160. So I care more about the EV. So should have had a winning session. So pretty happy with that. And yeah, gonna call it a vid. See you guys soon. Cheers. Bye.